immense pleasure to welcome our first keynote speaker, CDCR Secretary Jeff Macomber. Sir, hopefully I'm not butchering your last name, and correct me if I'm wrong.
No, Macomber is fine. I respond to Macomber or Macomber, either works. The family uses both versions.
Thank you, sir, very much. Well, let me continue to introduce this amazing presenter from CDCR, Jeff Macomber, who was appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom on December 12, 2022. His career at CDCR spanned nearly 3 decades. Most recently, he served as Undersecretary of Operation from 2020 to 2022. He has a diverse experience at CDCR, including leadership roles in custody administration and healthcare. Secretary Macomber understands the importance of providing meaningful and diverse reconstructive opportunities to people in his care to foster a correctional system focused on wellness and professional development of staff. When not working, Secretary Macomber enjoys tending to his vegetable garden and running and hiking. He's married, has 2 children, and 2 cats. So without further ado, Secretary Macomber, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, thank you so much for that great introduction. It's an honor to speak to this group today. And I thank Governor Newsom for the appointment. And again, thanks again for having me. I kind of wanted to go over, a few points of, and I know you wanted me to focus a little bit about some of our unique hiring processes that we're getting into in the department. So I'll cover those, and then I'll just touch a few quick things that we're doing in the department that I'm especially encouraged about. I think as most folks are aware, CDCR is the largest state department in terms of personnel numbers in the state. We have over 60,000 people within CDCR, and that allows us to have, basically a vast network and a very diverse workforce. And also necessitates us have a wide net in terms of us being able to recruit and retain individuals from all backgrounds. We have such a wide variety of employees. I think we cross over, it's either 17 or 19 different labor organizations within the state. So just a lot of opportunity in CDCR where we really, value diversity and inclusion. Inclusion is part of our department. And again, always focusing on a workplace that we try to be free of discrimination. We also are actively involved in the Government Alliance on Race and Equity. We've been involved in them with that group since 2018, and continue to do so as we look to advance those efforts within our department. And now I'd like to cover a few of the things we're doing for our peace officer recruitment, and then for our non-custody staff as well. And for peace officers, we've recently started doing something we call Jumpstart events. And those are events that are held weekly at our 3 selection centers for the peace officer staff. And what we're trying to do is streamline the hiring process. We've learned that hiring is different. People won't wait, 12 months to get a job today, like, maybe they would in the past to come work for the department. So what we're trying to do is kind of collapse our hiring process. And these Jumpstart events allows an opportunity for applicants to take our written exam, be fingerprinted for live scan, and actually start the background process all at one stop, which cuts a number of months out of our hiring process. These are specifically designed for peace officer recruitment, which do have different qualifications compared to non-peace officer roles. We do allow for applicants who require reasonable accommodation for the written exam can request and we will accommodate that. If approved, we also allow that applicant to take additional time for the examination. We're also entering some new space tied to our non-peace officer hiring events. We hold hiring workshops throughout the state 5 to 6 times a year and offer a condensed version of the hiring process, which can typically take up to 4 months in some cases. Applicants can walk through the entire process in a few hours with assistance provided to create a Cal Careers account during the event. And we help them navigate the system and complete the application and sometimes even do the interview process during these events. Non-peace officer roles may have different requirements and qualifications. So we always encourage applicants to make sure they attend the correct event. The Jumpstart and hiring workshop events are designed to make the hiring process as convenient and efficient as possible for applicants. By bringing together all necessary steps of the hiring process into a single location, we aim to minimize the need, for multiple trips, saving our applicants valuable time and effort through the process. And of course, the benefit to us is we get to bring people on quicker, which is important. So in closing on this point, by streamlining the hiring process, we aim to make it easier for qualified candidates to join our team at CDCR and contribute to our mission of ensuring public safety and rehabilitative services for all Californians. I do think CDCR offers a tremendous opportunity in that we have 33 institutions, parole offices, and others spread from literally the Oregon border down to the Mexican border, all over the state of California. We are continually hiring over a vast variety of different classifications. And so we're hopeful that these new hiring practices will bring more folks onto our department. And I want to cover a little bit on reasonable accommodations that we handle within the department. We remain committed to providing RAs to employees and applicants for employment to ensure individuals with disabilities have full access to equal employment opportunities. This includes things like applicants with a disability that may need accommodation when applying for a job. When an employee may need accommodation to perform essential functions in the workplace. We look to provide RAs when an employee with a disability needs an accommodation to enjoy equal benefits and privileges of employment. When a non-employee needs an accommodation, such as visitors, contractors, or volunteers, we do our best to provide those reasonable accommodation. I did talk about our hiring events. We also look to provide RAs there, and if we can't do it on site during our Jumpstart hiring events, we will look to do a separate interview. We schedule for those individuals to allow time for us and them to provide those accommodations. So we do take this very seriously. We also, during the hiring events, provide information on LEAP to help assist individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities as well. So we are committed to creating a supportive and inclusive environment for all of our employees and our applicants. And I'm hoping this group will help me spread the word that CDCR is a great place to work with lots of opportunities, lots of challenges, but I think we're a great department that offers careers ranging from from custody to healthcare, to education, to cooks, to people working in maintenance, to clerical and records and analytical, and even drug treatment. We also are doing a lot of work around employment on folks that release from our facilities. We're actually hiring back individuals that used to be former incarcerated into our facilities as well. Something 20 years ago would never have been thought of. And so we're really a department that's changing, and we're looking to implement something we call the California model in corrections, which is adopting some of the principles of more progressive prison systems such as Norway and other nationwide and not just nationwide, but international correctional systems to try to adopt some of their best practices and bring those to California. And just so folks are aware, our prison system is not what it was 10, 15 years ago. Our population once hit 175,000. Now we're down to about 95,000. We offer college programming for our incarcerated at every facility. We actually provide laptops now for folks to work on their studies, whether that be college programming or adult basic education programs. And then we're in the process now of also rolling out tablets to the entire incarcerated population that will allow not just rehabilitative programming, but the population can actually engage in free phone calls from the tablets, with their loved ones. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about what we got going on and some of the good stuff in the department. And again, I'm happy to take any questions, and hopefully I didn't take too long, but thank you for the opportunity to speak to this great group today.
Thank you, Secretary Macomber. I think you've said quite a few good points you raised. We were particularly interested and happy to learn that you have the reasonable accommodation process available for applicants, job seekers, and so forth. We're interested in learning, how do you do the on-site immediate hiring program? Can you walk us through the process where an applicant would come in, take the test, get interviewed, and possibly get a job offer? How does that work?
So we try to, at these events, if they already have, obviously, a Cal Careers account logged on, is what we try to do is actually walk them through the process and actually conduct the interview on site. And when I say the job offer, it probably, I should rephrase that to say the tentative job offer pending the background check and the verification points on that. But what we're seeing is if we can get folks hired right then and there, or give them that tentative offer with a pending report date, then we can bring folks in very quickly, which not only benefits us, it benefits that employee either. And as I referenced earlier, I think the critical piece of that is we're seeing differing challenges than we used to in the hiring process, and that if we don't get candidates into our system relatively quickly, they're off to another new job. We do very well when folks come into the department retaining our staff. We do very well there. But I would have to get back to you if you wanted more detail than that with my great HR staff that put these on for us.
The only reason I asked the question, because I think the model that you just described would help many other departments when they have a situation where they can, expedite the hiring process and do it in the manner that you described, seem to bypass or overcome many of the traditional obstacles that a person with disabilities would encounter when they're applying for a job. So that's our interest. So any information that you can provide down the road will be wonderful. Are there any challenges that the correctional system has been encountering when hiring or looking to hire a person with disabilities, or is there a particular focus toward that?
I'm not aware of any particular challenges in terms of hiring folks with disabilities. We just consider them valuable, parts of our team. And they bring something to the table like all our staff do. And so we're just hopeful that we get more folks from a diverse group applying to our department. That includes folks, when I say diverse, I mean folks with disabilities as well, coming in, because they bring a unique perspective. We do have a high number of folks we incarcerate that have disabilities. So we're always very mindful of that.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm going to open this session up, if you have a few more minutes, Secretary, to the audience. If they have a question that they can pose, they can unmute and ask the question, or raise your hand, or type it in on the chat, whichever way it's comfortable for you. You're welcome to do so. One of the questions that came up in the chat is, can you provide a link to your site that talks about hiring events so we can share with SDAC members. And I think you've already answered that by stating you'll get back to us.
And I may be able to find the link after I'm done talking. I'll look for it before I disconnect.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do we have any questions for Secretary Macomber? This is a special opportunity to ask a leader of a very large department, probably the largest, if I'm not mistaken, about hiring, about anything that the department is doing. We have somebody raising hand. Lisa, go ahead, unmute and ask your question.
Hi, is there a way where you can provide more information? I work for the Office of the State Public Defender, and I also interact with other nonprofit agencies such as Rubicon Reentry. And I'd like a little bit more information on when you talked about how when some of the inmates are released and some of them you bring back and hire them as employees. If you could provide some more information with regards to that, because I would love to share that information with, Rubicon's reentry program, and then also here with my office itself.
Absolutely. And, one of the ones I'm most excited about is we have a dive training program at our California Institution for Men down in Chino. And we had a former offender who graduated that program a dozen plus years ago. And that program pays well in excess of $100,000 per year for people to go work in that field. And he went out and did commercial diving for a dozen years. We hired him back now as the lead instructor for our program down in Chino. And I can tell you that when you hire former offenders to train existing offenders, it brings a unique and much better perspective, and it's much better well received by the folks receiving the training. So yeah, we can share some of our processes on that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Secretary Macomber, when you say diving, you're talking about a deep sea diver,
Deep diving, underwater,
and all that.
Yeah, underwater welding, that type of stuff. And some of these folks make in excess of $200,000 a year, and they're using skills that they were trained on in prison.
Great, that's such a great job. I might just apply for that one. But I don't have to go through a offender program to do that, right?
No.
Great. I'm not going to change my habits at this late stage in the game. All right. Any other questions for Secretary Macomber? If not, then I'm going to say goodbye to Secretary Macomber for being here and presenting this really wealth of information. And if you're not able to give us the link now, just provide that to us and I'll be happy to share that link with the rest of our members at SDAC. So thank you again and have yourself a fantastic day.
Thank you so much for having me. And like you said, I'll try to add that to the link here shortly.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.